This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are the things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
Getting engaged can be stressful. Getting the right ring won't be at BlueNile.com. The jewelers at BlueNile.com have sparkle down to a science with beautiful lab-grown diamonds worthy of your most brilliant moments. Their lab-grown diamonds are independently graded and guaranteed identical to natural diamonds and ready to ship to your door. Get $50 off your purchase of $500 or more with code POD at BlueNile.com. That's BlueNile.com, code POD for $50 off.
This podcast is sponsored by Skylight Frames. There's something special about sharing memories with loved ones, especially during the holidays. Whether it's a snapshot of your kids having some fun, a magical moment from a recent trip, or a sentimental memory from years ago, Skylight Frames brings those moments to life right in your home. This holiday season, give the gift that keeps on giving, memories. Whether it's for grandparents who adore seeing the latest photos of the grandkids, or a friend who just cherishes capturing every special moment, the Skylight Frame is the perfect way to bring joy and connection into any home. The Skylight Frame is very easy to use, designed for everyone in the family, even for those who aren't tech savvy. With a quick 1-minute setup, all you have to do is plug it in and it's ready to go. No complicated apps or prescriptions are required. For those who are a little more tech savvy, the Skylight Plus software takes to the next level with fun features like Doodles, where you can draw or write a note on your phone and it shows up instantly on the frame, and interactive greeting cards that make birthdays, holidays, or any day extra special. Want to surprise someone? Use gift mode to preload your favorite photos before giving the Skylight Frame. When they turn it on, they'll be greeted with cherished memories ready to enjoy immediately. Not only is the Skylight Frame easy to use, but it also looks beautiful in any home. With 5 stylish frame options, high definition resolution, and the ability to display photos in portrait or landscape, it's the perfect addition to any room. And for peace of mind, Skylight Frame offers a satisfaction guarantee with free returns within 120 days if you're not happy with your purchase. This holiday, don't just give a gift, give the joy of connection. For a limited time, get 20% off your purchase of Skylight Frame by going to ca.skylightframe.com/hockey. That's right. To get 20% off, visit ca.skylightframe.com/hockey. That is ca.skylightframe.com/hockey.
Well, Owen, American Thanksgiving. And you want to know what I'm thankful for?
What are you thankful for?
Fucking hitting 1,000 followers on Instagram. That's what I'm thankful for.
Oh yeah, baby.
That's what I'm thankful for. I'm also thankful for the five days off that I have right now that I'm just thoroughly enjoying.
Well, that's a great way to start this one off. Yeah, thank you all. Thank you so much for 1,000. I mean, that's a pretty huge milestone for us on the Instagram. I think we're up to about 1,050 since then too. So, we're still growing, and hopefully we can do the same on our other social media platforms, and hopefully the streams keep going up too. So, yeah, dude, crazy. Did you think we get to this point this quickly?
Dude, I didn't think. Dude, I've been saying this before. We started I didn't really start it as anything serious.
Didn't think we'd get to this point.
No, I didn't think we'd be getting to this point, man. I think we'd be. I think we would have stopped it by now. But no, I've enjoyed it pretty well, and I think it's been a pretty cool experience overall. So, I'm excited to keep it going.
Yeah, for sure, buddy. Well, how's your first authentic American Thanksgiving experience been then? Because it's just Thursday here. So
it's crazy here, man.
Yeah,
it's so crazy. In Canada, you get 1 day off, right? Or is it 2 days?
Not for a minute. Yeah, 1 day. For our Thanksgiving, yeah.
Yeah,
we get a day.
Here it's everything was closed yesterday, and I mean everything. McDonald's was closed.
Holy shit! Yesterday?
I know.
On Wednesday?
Yeah, and then, today. Sorry. Yesterday, everything was dead though. You could tell people were traveling around and there was nothing to do. Today, everything's closed. middle of the week, Thursday. Nothing was open. A couple of the boys tried to go to McDonald's today, and then everything was closed except the grocery store, and the grocery store was barren. Like there's absolutely nothing left. Yeah, I know. So so the American Thanksgiving, the craze is a thing. They do their holidays right down here though. They give you like a whole week.
Kidding, man.
Like you get the Thursday, the Friday, even the fucking Wednesday. I got the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Nice. Dude, American Thanksgiving is kind of I feel like a nicer layout too. Like it kind of breaks up the November season a bit more. Like Canadian Thanksgiving's so early, and then it's like you got such a long gap until Christmas. So American Thanksgiving kind of gets you through that hump. Like we got like Halloween's in October too, right? Like
exactly.
Canadian Thanksgiving's kind of in an annoying spot, but
we have like our own fall break thing as well in the middle, like kind of around Canadian Thanksgiving, so it kind of breaks it up too for like the school schedule. But
yeah, I get what you're saying.
But yeah, no, I think, dude, like I'm so excited to come home.
Yeah,
I've been waiting for so long. I've been waiting. I just I miss the fucking mountains, man. I miss like looking at stuff. You know what I mean? Like going to do shit.
It's that crazy. Like you're starting to feel the homesick.
I don't have any wheels down here either, so like, I don't have a car.
Too. Yeah.
So I can't really get very mobile. So I got to rely on people if I want to go anywhere.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, no, it's been a grind. I think I got to bring a car down here next year. Maybe do like the 48-hour drive or whatever the fuck, however long it's going to be take me to get down here.
Maybe
cool.
maybe I should rip the road trip down there with you and then fly back.
Dude, the flights are expensive as fuck.
Yeah, I bet. Oh, I bet it's a joke,
dude.
But
it would be unreal, the trip, dude. We go through like go through Washington, then Montana, then Idaho, then Montana, then keep going down like Utah, and I don't know if you can go through Colorado, but like
I'm sure you could go through like you could even probably go like all the way down to Nevada. Just like swing it back up a bit.
And just
like,
swing
you could probably hit some. Yeah, you could probably hit some like really make that a really cool trip. Like check out the scenery.
I want to do that. I want to do that at least once, probably a few times, and like take different routes too.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I think you should. And then having the wheels down there is clutch too. But one thing about the American Thanksgiving that I wanted to bring up is. I believe the statistic is usually 75% of the teams in the NHL playoff picture by American Thanksgiving end up making it, which with the way the playoffs is right now, that would be a little bit whack. So I'm excited to get into our NHL talk. Obviously, we didn't get to do any last week, so we'll probably actually have a little more NHL and other sports than usual, and just a kind of a normal amount of junior, but. That's just the way it's ended up going. So yeah, we're excited to get into it. But you got anything else you want to touch on quick, Joey?
No, I'm on. Let's get into it. Let's go.
Alrighty.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Jungle Hockey Podcast, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. We're in episode 20. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Owen Elson. How are we doing, buddy?
We're doing good, Joey. We're doing real good. Happy to be here for episode 20.
I'm fucking hurting, Owen. There's a reason these fucking episodes have been delayed, man. It's not going good. I'm not doing well right now. But no, we got a sick interview. We got a sick interview today.
Yeah, I guess you guys can't see this, but I'm repping the Outlaws toque right now for today's guest. We got the voice of the Mission City Outlaws, as Joe would say, Mike the Boiler Bordignon. So, Boiler, honestly, Joe, in my opinion, probably our best interview. Just the storytelling from this
message
guy.
wise and the storytelling, everything.
Yeah, like message wise, the storytelling. Like this guy had it was a roller coaster. Like. Yeah, some super emotional stuff, like just beautiful, beautiful messages about the hockey community and what it's meant to him and done for him. Boiler's been around the game of hockey, junior hockey especially, for an extremely, extremely long time. He was, with the Rivermen for a long time as well, as their play-by-play guy. And, he's back in Mission and he's been enjoying it. So please, enjoy that interview, especially if you're a former Outlaw. You probably know and love the Boiler, so it'll be a little bit extra good for Outlaws fans. But even if you're not, unbelievable interview. And I wouldn't mind having on some more play-by-play guys or something like that in the future. Some more people like in a different
Some
area of
media
the
guys.
game. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Something a little bit different.
We get into it. We can. I know a couple actually. I could probably send some texts out, but we'll figure it out.
We can probably get some in the future. But anyways, buddy. Besides you hurting, how's overall like the school grind been okay? Like how's like the hockey? I guess you haven't had any games lately.
No, we actually had our longest stretch right now. We were 3 weekends in a row. We had no off weekends. We went straight into it.
Wow.
I think it's the first time in my career where I've played 5 straight. I started 5 straight. 5 straight games, and it was a grind, man.
Yeah, and I saw you guys got bumped back up to 9th in the rankings. So
we're back up to 9. Yeah, we're back up to 9. The problem is our schedule is not hard enough, so we don't play anyone above us.
Yeah, it's not really going to be able to boost you up there like that, hey?
So we have to win. We have to win every game against lower seeds by a lot.
Yeah,
if we don't win, we'll get dropped, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Which is going to suck. It's a lot of pressure. But no, the boys are firing right now. The boys are rolling. A bunch of them went on a little trip. I think I ended up staying. I was just chilling out, but a bunch of the boys went on a little getaway to go up to the lake or something.
Nice. A little cottage.
Yeah, getaway. A little getaway, and then final season's coming up here.
Yeah,
I'm sure you know all about that, eh?
Yeah, this last week and a bit has been rough, dude. Like I'm not. Yeah, it hasn't been fun right now, but you know what? Once the school's over and we get into the winter break, it'll hopefully be better again. I'm so fucking mentally exhausted right now from the school stuff, dude. Like it takes such a toll. Like you need you
got to do it.
This break.
Yeah, this break is actually clutch for me right now. I feel unreal. It's so nice.
Yeah, I bet, buddy. And then obviously, I got a bit of a holiday, so it'll be nice for me to take a break from the full-time in-person school. I'm just doing a few online electives next semester. But anyways, enough of that.
Let's small little holiday. Just a small little holiday. Anyways.
Yeah, exactly. Short, small little holiday. But anyways, let's get into it a bit here. Recapping some junior leagues. Actually, maybe before we get into our usual PJHL recaps and whatnot, maybe just quickly talk a little bit more about some of the news that's been going on with the rule change. So again, more players are leaving the USHL, more players are leaving the BCHL. It's still happening. It's definitely slowed down. Another thing is the commitments have not stopped slowing down from dub players or CHL players. It's
3 a day,
crazy. It's
2 a day, 3 a day.
Yeah, at least.
It's nuts.
And that's just the ones that are getting actually posted. Think about the amount of phone calls that are going on right now. Guys that are getting ready to commit. It must be absurd. But another thing that I want to point out that is really interesting is apparently the OHL, and I'm assuming the whole CHL, wants to pursue extremely aggressive expansion. Now, I don't know if this means they're going to absorb USHL teams or that type of thing, or maybe they just sign some kind of deal with the USHL, because the USHL, there's quite a few teams in that league, and it's obviously an incredible
10 or 12.
Yeah, 10 or 12, but it's the talent level in the USHL is insane. So
pretty good.
I've heard rumors. I don't think this would happen. I think this is more just an idea, but basically making it a North American hockey league and just adding the USHL to it, and the Memorial Cup.
Even some null teams, some big time null teams.
Yeah, you could. You could see that.
As well.
The null kind of fill that void as well. Kind of be like a feeder league, but. I wouldn't hate to see that, but because it sucks what's happening for these USHL franchises that have they're kind of catching a stray, and it sucks to see. So hopefully that this expansion, and with the BCHL too, it includes what I would like to see is, for the most part, just the leagues absorbing teams. If the USHL, I don't know the exact layout of the league, but I think most of it's more so in the East. But maybe a couple of those teams get put into the WHL, couple to the Q, couple to the O, and then with the BCHL, same thing. A few go to the dub, a few drop down, and a few get dissolved. Like, I think that's probably the most likely scenario, and I think that'll probably help keep like the playing level at the highest caliber it can too. Like, it's not gonna water it down, right? It's gonna like make it a lot more competitive.
But I think that everything is changing so quickly that it's so hard to really read what's going to happen, because this could be like this is a theory, right? But it's like everything is switched on, and ever since that rule change happened. And like, if these leagues don't react in time, they're gonna really struggle to find success, even financially, but not only financially, like to just even exist, but to keep the players and to keep the level where it's at. Whereas if the CHL is expanding, it'll just become almost a monopoly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But honestly, like, there's so many different fucking routes to take now. I don't even hate that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it one
straightforward path, right?
It's so much, and for the fans and for people trying to understand this, for kids, it's so much easier to just wrap your head around the idea. Like,
if you explain it to someone.
Exactly, and you got so many different, like in BC right now, the amount of fucking youth leagues out there. Like, you got the classic Pacific Coast League, right? What we all played in growing up, minor hockey. You got, is it the JPHL?
I think so.
Like the BCHL's one, the BCHL's feeder league, like, and then you got that HSL or whatever, like with the Fraser Valley Sturgeon or the Aces or whatever. Like, I think that's what it is. Vancouver Sharks, like that random league. And then you have the CSSHL. You got the BCEHL. And there's probably more that I don't know of. Like, it's ridiculous. Did I mention HPL? Like, high performance?
No,
that's like the big one. HPL too, like at the younger ages, is the kids are leaving minor hockey to play HPL. But it's just, there's so much bullshit out there, and it's all so expensive, and like it needs to be made more straightforward. And like,
do you think this will lower the price of everything?
That's what I was just gonna say, dude. Yeah. All these programs are charging so fucking much now. I think if they can make it like just straightforward and not like try and trick you into making you pay so much more money to play somewhere, you should be okay. Like, I should hopefully lower the cost. Lowering the cost of hockey is like always like the most important thing right now, you know?
Well, even with the gear, everything's so expensive, right? But
yeah, like for growing the game, like the cost thing is just a nightmare. So that's, I would hope to see it lower the cost, but I don't know. Do you have just any more? Obviously, we've talked about this topic a lot. Any more to touch on before we move on to just our normal PJHL recaps and stuff, or junior league recaps?
I don't really think so. I think it's just going to be pretty interesting to see kind of what transpires over the next, and we're going to cover it, right? Like, we're going to be able to read and make and tell.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
As we go, but it's interesting to see kind of what we're saying now, and then we're going to look back at what we said now 6 months from now and look like idiots. Like complete idiots on everything.
Just like with our predictions.
Exactly, with our like NHL predictions, it's the exact same thing, and it's like, it's just funny to look back on.
Yeah, exactly.
And document as it goes. But the truth is that none of us really truly know anything.
No, it's all
like
speculation.
We can get little bits from other people, but it's just like, at the end of the day, no one really knows what's going on.
For sure, buddy. I think it's time we get into our junior league recaps. Started off, just a couple notes for the PJHL. So one pretty annoying thing is the PJHL hasn't posted Stars of the Week in 2 weeks. So don't know. Don't know what's going on there, but
There's no stars.
They just haven't posted the 3 stars this week or the week before. So no 3 stars for this week. But in much better news, the PJHL has finally officially announced an All-Star game. To my knowledge, this is the first All-Star game since like 2018, maybe 2019, somewhere around there. It's been a while. Joey, how sick is this for the Pidge, and how jealous are the KI fans right now?
KI needs to fucking pick it up, bro. Like, fuck, like they gotta figure it out. The sniper was saying like we got he pretty much made the point that I was gonna make, is that I'm not gonna say a worse league. I'm gonna say a league that is at the same level and should be doing a lot of the things the same.
Yeah.
Is getting an All-Star game, so it's only a matter of time before the KI announces it. I think has to be, right?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Like, you would think so, right?
Has to be. Like,
I'll be a little more blunt if you don't want to sound biased. Like, obviously the KI is overall like a deeper league. Like, I think the top teams are the top teams in both leagues, but the KI is deeper. Like, you don't have to mince your words there, but the top PJHL teams would do fine in the KI, obviously. But the bottom ones,
Yeah. I think an All-Star team would go great on because they're doing 2 in the PJ, right? Like, they'll play against each other.
Yeah, it'll be conference versus conference.
Yeah, okay.
As far as I know,
I think a league-wide one similar to the League Prospects game would go crazy as well. Like a KI versus PJ
that
All-Star
would probably
game.
Be a lot more competitive, right? Like, those guys would be going a lot harder. I think this Pidge one might be a little more lax.
You're representing your league. It's like you're playing for your country, man. Like,
yeah, in a way, yeah. Like, you want to be the better
like
league,
a little bit
right?
like that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You want to be known as the better league, the better team. So
yeah. And I think in an All-Star game, Pidge versus KI, like, that would end up being so even, because like I was saying, like, the top level of the Pidge, I think, can compete with that top level of KI. It's just depth that really makes the difference. But like, you would think that with the way, like, the KI does such a better job running their league, like the social media, oh my goodness, like their KI is just
good,
amazing. Like, their off ice content and everything the KI does, like, to do with their, just the website, like the league itself, the media side is fantastic, and the Pidge does almost nothing. So
and they have their own pod. They even have their own pod, dude.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the KI has their own pod. Like, and there's a Pidge. I know, like the Coastal Tsunami have their own pod and things like that, but the Pidge just needs to start doing a lot more to actually promote the league, because it's a lot better of a league than people think. And like, I don't know, like, you look at guys who go from the Pidge to leagues like the SI or the NO, and they're putting up the same numbers in those leagues they were putting up in the Pidge, and you're like, huh.
Yeah.
Like,
maybe it's similar.
Yeah, no, like, obviously, again, it's a depth thing. It's an overall standpoint, but it just shows you that talent is at least present. It's just kind of what I'm trying to say. So you hope the KI does an All-Star game soon, but I think having Poco hosting this too is amazing. Like, Poco is doing wonderful things for this league, like, as far as ownership and management as well. They want to make this an awesome event. So like, I'm excited to stay tuned for more info on the rosters, the event itself, and I'm pretty positive that there's a good chance I'll be there, and hopefully I'll, maybe be able to cover it or get some content as well. But
when is it? When actually is it?
January 13th, so pretty quick before I head out.
I'm gonna miss it. Miss it.
Yeah, you're gonna miss it, but I'll get to. Well, I'll go no matter what. But hopefully, I end up being able to cover some stuff and get some content. But besides that, for the PJHL, I mean, everyone knows, like, what the standings have been. Delta beat Mission twice, pretty good in the last couple of days. Grandview beat Pomo and was looking like they were continuing their hot streak, and then lost to Langley, that's a tough loss for Grandview, a team that's been doing well. They'll drop points to Langley. And then, dude, Aldi lost 3-2 to Coastal last night. It was 2-2 going into the third. I thought they were going to do it. But good to see Aldi being more competitive. Like, obviously, like we've said all year, you never want to see teams just getting crushed. Chilliwack's still 25-1. 50 points on the season. Unbelievable. As for the actual standings themselves, like, literally nothing has changed since the last time we talked about it. Delta's in first in with Tom Shaw. Richmond's behind them. There's a gap now before White Rock, Poco, Coastal, and Grandview, which are all pretty close. But Coastal and Grandview, who are 5th and 6th, have more games played than White Rock and Poco. So I do think we're going to see White Rock and Poco battling it out for the 3 and 4. Delta, Richmond battle for 1-2. Coastal, Grandview battle for 5-6. Maybe North Van tries to make it competitive, but I don't think they're going to get there. And then for the Harold Britton, like, Ridge has 3 games ahead on Chilliwack, so like Ridge could definitely still finish ahead of Chilliwack. Chilliwack's just been so dominant so far. I believe those teams should play each other at least 4 times this year, and they've only played each other once so far. So those are going to be some crazy games to watch down the stretch. Like I wonder when the next time they play is. I'm really excited for that one actually. Sunday, December 1st. Keep that one marked on the calendar. Ridge versus Chilliwack. That will be a war. And then Langley and Abbotsford battling it out. Abby's looking a little better, same amount of points and less games played, less regulation losses. And I just think Abby's a better overall team. They've also had quite a few injuries and issues like that. So when Abby's got a full roster, like I think they're a dangerous team, but they're so weird. They'll lose to like they lost to Surrey that one day 7-0 and then lost to Ridge 1-0. Like it's just so weird. They can actually compete with the best and also it looks like lose to the worst. So it's a bit of a strange team there, and then Mission and Surrey are going to be battling for 5 and 6 all year. Like it's the same thing. It's
it's going to be the same thing.
Yeah. As for the point leaders, Connor Hughes, Ty Balchin, and Colin Jang on Port Moody have all moved into top 10, which is pretty crazy. Like Port Moody's first line is all putting up numbers that crazy, and yet they're in last place in their division. Again, like on the standings board, not a ton has changed besides that. We got our normal Ridge guys, our normal Delta guys, and our normal Richmond guys all at the top.
Exactly.
And yeah, there just hasn't been a lot of movement when it comes to the stat leaders in the pitch. So hopefully we got a little more to talk about next time, but that's about all I got here, buddy. If you want to get us into the KI, I think there's been a little more going on in the KI than the pitch. So
there's a little more movement. I guess we can just start out with shouting out Spokane.
Yeah,
a huge 5-0 win, shutout win over the Nelson Leafs on Saturday night. That moves them to 2-15 on the year. So they're still significantly the bottom feeder of the league. I think they're 10 points away from 9 points away from Golden. On the same amount of games, Golden's 5-9 and Spokane is 2-15, so they're clearly the bottom feeders. But a big win, maybe they can turn it around. Fernie has been on fire.
Yeah, I've seen that. Oh my goodness,
Haggerty is up to 2 points per game. There's been a little bit of shift in the points totals as well. If we'll get to that, but on 17 games played for Fernie, they're 10-4-2. For 23 points, and they're 7 points back of Kimbo with 4 games in hand. So if assuming they win out, win their next 4 and get even, they'll be just up there for the Eddie Mountain. Columbia Valley is also looking pretty solid. They're slowly slipping a little bit though. 24 points. They're 12-9. But we move on to the Neil Murdoch is also a war right now. Beaver Valley and Grand Forks have the exact same record right now.
Wow.
Their goal difference is within 4 goals of each other. And so it's a toss up in the Neil Murdoch as well. Yes, I mentioned Nelson. They had a loss against Spokane. They're pretty solid in 3rd place right now in that division, so looking like a playoff team. Some movement in the Doug Burks. Owen, your Chase Heat, have not looked hot recently.
I know. I've been seeing that.
Yeah,
they've
slowly slipped. They're slowly slipping. More so going to where I kind of predicted them to be.
Yeah,
I'm just happy they're competitive. This division is I think this division's the closest when it comes to point spread.
It definitely looks like it. Like
the bottom,
26 at the top, 17 at the bottom. That's a crazy 9-point difference. Is crazy.
9-point difference between 5th and 1st. So 100 Mile is currently. I'm all for the 100. I'm on the 100 Mile train. I'm all for 100 Mile winning that division.
Buddy, but hasn't Quinnell been on a heater lately?
They have been. They took Rev. Did they take Revy to over? No, they lost to Revelstoke actually. My bad. But yeah, maybe, after the trades they've been making, maybe they're looking to turn it around a little bit.
Yeah, they've been a lot more competitive. 6-3-1 in their last 10. That's the best in that division. So they started off in the bottom, but they're definitely surging lately. You love to see that for our former guest Bennett Kuhnlein.
He scored against Revy. He scored against
Did he?
Revy. Yeah. I
He
don't know
must have
I
loved
don't know what
that.
cell he hit, but what's that?
He must have loved that.
Yeah, he must have loved it, eh? But yeah, no, and then we moved to the Bill Olhausen, the newly reshuffled division with Princeton and Revelstoke. Revy with 4 games in hand, but 9 points back. This is just really showing how important the games between Revelstoke and Princeton in division are going to be. Revelstoke's atop the past 10, the power rankings here. But yeah, with 4 games in hand, they're 9 points back of Princeton, who are sitting 18-3. Revelstoke's 13-3, good for 28 points. Princeton has 37, and then Sycamoose is rounding out at third. Revy has 3 games in hand on them, and they're 2 points ahead. And then Merritt looks like the solid playoff-bound team coming out fourth, and then Oso and Kelowna are just the 2 bottom ones, kind of fighting it out.
Yeah,
seeing if Merritt can slip up, maybe they can slide in. But
I don't know.
Kelowna also has a couple games in hand too. So if they get on a little bit of a heater, they can maybe make a jump up. But they're 500 right now, so they're not horrible, but probably going to need to pick it up a little bit to make the playoffs there. When it comes to statistics, for the first time, I think, since the season started, Langdon's not number 1 anymore. We have Levi Astill on the Grand Forks Border Bruins at 35 points in 20 games, 14 goals and 21 assists. I don't remember ever playing against this guy. We also played Grand Forks right at the start of the year last year, so maybe I just missed him.
Okay.
Still shout out Langdon, 32 points in 19 games. I don't know if he's been playing or not, but Princeton just hasn't played. But he hasn't played any games recently, so
weird.
Yeah, it is weird. And then Taylor Haggerty is 17 games played, 16 goals, 16 assists for 32 points for Fernie. He's on pace to win the point scoring by quite a bit. I think he's 0.12 points per game higher than its next closest, which is amazing. And then Bryson Dube on Kamloops, 31 points in 22 games. And then shout out to Asher Lucas, the 08, still putting up great numbers, rounding out the top 5 for Williams Lake here. 13 goals and 18 assists in 31 points in 20 games. Just good to see. And then do we have a D? I swear we had a D-man. Yeah, Eric Martin on the Fernie has picked it up. He's 18th in the league, but he's the highest scoring defenseman, with 5 goals and 19 assists in 24 points in 17 games. Once Fernie starts playing more games and figuring that shit out, then they'll those 2 players will probably jump up the list. And I think Taylor Haggerty is going to lead the league in points.
Yeah, sure. Looking that way.
The way that he's operating, the way that he's producing right now, it's just, it looks unbelievable. But yeah, we can check, just to reinforce my point on Fernie. If we look at the power rankings, Revelstoke is 9-1 in their last 10, at the top there. But Grand Forks, Princeton, Beaver Valley, and then Fernie sneaks in at number 5 there. So Grand Forks being 8-1-1, Princeton being 8-2, Beaver Valley 7-2-1, and then Fernie 7-2-1 in their last 10 respectively. And then Haggerty won Player of the Week for forwards. He had 5 points in 2 games. I have no idea how to say this guy's last name. Jonathan Strechiniak on Beaver Valley, the defenseman, had 3 points in 2 games, a goal and 2 assists. And then Spokane's goalie, the guy who got the shutout against Nelson, wins goalie of the week this week. Yeah, great performance. 88 of 91 in 2 games.
Okay. He played 2 games.
88 of 91 in 2 games. So let's see. He said he had a 55 save shutout, Owen.
How many?
55 saves. Holy fuck.
That is mental. What a game. Good for him.
Unreal. In 13 games, he has both wins for Spokane. Get this, he has a 901 save percentage, which is pretty average, right?
Yeah, but they're 2-15.
But his goals against average is 4.43 with a 901 save percentage.
That's a good save percentage. Then this guy's underrated. Holy.
That means he's top in 44 a night consistently.
Yeah.
If you do the math properly. But
That's
anyways, yeah. That's my KI recap there.
No, that's great, buddy. I'll get us into the VI quick then. Just kind of going back to last weekend. Stanich beat Comox in OT. That's a tough loss for Comox, but they ended up winning their next two over the weekend against Stanich again, and then a big win over Nanaimo on Sunday for Comox. That's like they needed those points pretty bad. Also, West Shore Wolves took down the Campbell River Storm. Two of the top teams in the league there. I was kind of surprised to see West Shore win that one. Oceanside got their third win of the year. They beat Cowichan. And Peninsula had a 6-3 win over Nanaimo last Friday as well. But Joe, the one game we got to talk about here is, I think it was last Saturday, the Carey Park Islanders beat the Victoria Cougars 10-9 in overtime. The score was 6-2 at the end of the first for Carey Park. They blew the lead. And then, a 10-9 win for Carey Park. It looks like Jacob Morrison had a hat trick. Carson Brown scored. Davis had a couple. And Joby Pearson with the overtime winner. No big surprise there.
Over.
And then, like I said, Comox beat Saanich that day. And then Port Alberni, Sean Richards had a hat trick in a 7-2 win against Cowichan on Saturday as well.
Unreal.
And, and then there's a couple games. Was that yesterday? The Port Alberni Bombers continue their winning ways. They beat the Nanaimo Bucks and the Peninsula Panthers with a tight overtime win over the West Shore Wolves. So again, two of the top teams there, and a big win for Peninsula after West Shore beat Campbell River. So at the top of the VI, it seems those teams are all really even, like maybe the top four teams. So it'd be interesting to see what comes out of the playoffs there. So that's pretty much just a score recap. As far as the standings, I mean, Port Alberni and Campbell River fighting for first. Nanaimo and Comox fighting for third and fourth. Before, Nanaimo was looking pretty far ahead of Comox, so it's nice to see Comox close that gap and also gain that gap on Cowichan, because Cowichan was catching up for a bit, but they got an 8-point separation there now. Then as for the other division, Peninsula, West Shore, and Carey Park will all be fighting for first in that division. They're all within a few points of each other. Carey Park with games to play. And then there's the Victoria Cougars, which Saanich is slowly gaining on them. It looks like Victoria might actually not be that playoff team if Saanich keeps getting some of these sneaky wins. So keep an eye on that. But at the end of the day, I do still think we're going to see Victoria get that playoff spot over Saanich. As for the stat leaders, after that 10-9 game, I got to imagine it's just even more Carey Park than usual. Yeah, Carson Brown's still rolling at a 2-point. He was 2.24 clip last time we talked about him. He's up to a 2.27. He's got 25 goals and 25 assists in 22 games. His line mate Jacob Morrison's got 43 points. Liam Smith and Sean Richards on Port Alberni have 37 and 36 points in 24 and 25 games. Then we got Brody Lindahl, who is from Melbourne, Australia, and he's got 34 points in 22 games for Nanaimo. So good for him. Yeah, and then Zion Lavoie still leading the way for West Shore. He's been on fire, 32 points in 24 games. His line mate, Parker Atkinson, 29 and 24, and Jackson Campbell, 27 and 20 games played. And then Joby Pearson, 31 points in 14 games for a 2.21. He's still lighting it up as well. So I think Carey Park's going to be unstoppable with that first line, dude. Like, they're just so fucking good. But like I said, there's 4 or 5 really good teams in this league, and I think it's going to make for a really fun play, maybe the most competitive playoffs.
For the VI there.
Yeah, like it's. I feel like you can usually pick out the 1 or 2, but there's 5 really good, really strong looking teams here. And a D, I got to shout out Austin Garrett, defenseman on Victoria, 11 goals, 14 assists in 22 games. First time I've seen a D-man on the front page all year.
Wow.
And he's a rookie on Victoria as well. He's just been lighting it up. Yeah. I feel like he must have came late from the SJ or something, because his numbers
maybe
nasty. Let's see. No? Played Wow. He was played Pacific Coast U18 last year, but 0 goals, 7 assists. Defensive guy. And then he's just over point per game and 69 PIMs in 22 games. This guy sounds like a menace. Holy shit.
Wow.
Maybe a new front runner for D-Man of the Year with Austin Garrett there, but as far as the other D-Man, your favorite player, UC Sarni, still putting up good numbers for Victoria. He's got 22 points in 24 games, and then Joe Maranzino, my pick for defenseman of the year, has got 19 points in 23 games. So it looks like he's fallen out of it a bit, but still lots of. Well, I guess the season's pretty much halfway over, dude. For junior, that's insane.
Wow, yeah, that's already.
A lot of teams are past the halfway mark, and if not, they're really close to it. Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, wow. I can't believe that.
That's what I'm saying. It's so crazy that some teams in the KI have only played 17 games.
Yeah, that's
played. Yeah. It's just the travel, man. It's just different.
There's some pitch teams that are just about at 30.
Exactly.
I think Delta's at 29 games. I might be a little off.
They play away just way more often, man.
28. Langley is 29. Langley is 29. Delta's 28. That's absurd.
That's insane.
Yeah, ridiculous. So, anyways, though, buddy, I think it's that's pretty good junior recaps. I think it's time to send it over to our interview. We already talked about it. Mike the Boiler, play-by-play broadcaster for the Mission City Outlaws, formerly for the Langley Rivermen. Unbelievable interview. You do not miss it. We'll send it over to him right now. Joey, any last thing to touch on?
No, let's just send her over. I can't wait to get into this.
Joe, you know what the most exciting thing about Black Friday and Cyber Monday is? Getting to cash in on an amazing deal that you wouldn't normally get. Except with Raycon. Because with Raycon, you can get an amazing deal on premium audio every day of the year. But that doesn't mean they're not having any sales for Black Friday. Far from it. They're actually doubling down on their amazing value by offering viewers up to 30% off site-wide. A Black Friday deal you'll appreciate every day? Raycon's everyday earbuds, especially if you haven't checked out their latest model, which includes plenty of new features that make them even more of a must-have for any audio lover. For example, they now feature a 32-hour battery life and multi-point connectivity that lets you pair with 2 devices at once. Raycon's everyday earbuds also come with active noise cancellation. It's a feature that's a must-have for me on long flights, long road trips up to the cabin. Maybe you got a long bus ride to your next game, but one that can be difficult to find at an accessible price point. Because that's another thing. Although Raycon's quality rivals some of the biggest names in premium audio, Raycons start at just half the price as the other guys. So they're already an incredible deal, even before you factor in their Black Friday offer of up to 30% off site-wide. You know, what really amazes me about these Raycon everyday earbuds, you know, along with the price and the quality itself, you know, they're super versatile. That multi-point connectivity is amazing. So Raycon's everyday earbuds are also available in a variety of vibrant colors, so you don't have to just have the standard issue white or black earbuds sticking out of your ears. For me personally, I think a blue pair of some Raycons would be pretty nice, or maybe some green, you know, jungle hockey themed ones. Now's the perfect time to scoop them up if you haven't already. And don't worry, if you're not as impressed as I am, Raycon offers a 30-day happiness guarantee, so you really can't lose. It's time to save big for Black Friday. Go to buyraycon.com/THPN today to get up to 30% off everything on Raycon's website when you go to buyraycon.com/THPN.
You know, Owen, I remember my first hockey game. The excitement of watching hockey live. The chill of the ice and the slam of a full NHL hockey player slamming against the boards. It was just nothing like it. I remember me and you going to the outdoor game at the Heritage Classic in Vancouver there. I also remember, you know, Brock Besser almost tearing the roof off the building when if he would have scored a third goal to get a hat trick. We watched the Canucks win a couple times, which was pretty sweet. Well, I want to introduce you to a ticketing service called Game Time. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes it getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. My personal experience, I was just looking at the Kansas City Chiefs playing the Broncos this Sunday. They had a whole bunch going on, but I love how they sort all your tickets into the deals called Super, and then they even have the cheapest tickets or whatever you need. This app really surprised me by showing me, you know, this they had this one seats for like $120 off. It was pretty insane. And it weren't upper bowl either. It was like in the middle by the sideline. It was pretty sweet. Customize your spot. Game time picks curation makes it easier to save on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. All-in pricing. Toggling this feature allows total upfront, no surprise fees at checkout. You can even get your seat view with a panoramic view from the seat and the app before you buy. The lowest price guarantee, or Game Time, will credit you 110% of the difference. Game Time ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code THPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code THPN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time.
I'm super excited to bring on our next guest. He's the play-by-play announcer for the Mission City Outlaws and one of the absolute best in the business at it. We have Mike the Boiler. How's it going, Boiler? How are you?
Gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be on the show.
It's great to have you.
Real excited.
When you text me finally, and I was talking to your dad Owen at the game, and he's like, "Oh, it's funny because Owen had just mentioned he was trying to find your contact information, so it was kind of an interesting situation there." But hey, cool! I'm finally glad to be on it. So
yeah, you got the voice down.
I got the perfect face for radio, bud.
Well, I mean, obviously, all of my any interview experience I have, or any media training or whatever, has all been through you. So we have to have you on. Obviously, I owe all that to you. You've interviewed me many times for the Outlaws stuff. So, thanks for doing this. We're excited to get into it.
Well, Owen, you were with the team for like 15 years, so it was about time I got hands right. So.
Yeah, no, for
if
sure.
If you count the time in the stands, probably like us watching the games.
Yeah, with his super, I've got a sore shoulder thing. Yeah, right. He just wanted to watch the
game. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's just get into it. So, what's just your background in hockey as a whole, and just how did you?
How did it start, man?
Yeah, how did it start? How did you first get into hockey, and then how does it go all the way from that to, getting into doing play-by-play and broadcasting like you do now?
So for me, obviously started like the rest of you guys when I was old enough to walk. My dad had me out on skates, played hockey my whole life. Not at a high level like you guys did it, obviously, but I really enjoyed the game, and I always knew that there would be something for me. So later on in my career, I became a referee and a linesman, worked the PJHL for a few games. Thought that, it's just not for me. I want to get back then when I was a teenager, I thought, you're not going to get the girls if you're wearing the stripes. That was my thought process anyways. So I decided to give it up and actually started volunteering with the Langley Junior Hockey at the time. Now this is going to make you guys feel pretty young because it was probably before your time. But to 1992, I started out as a volunteer with the Langley Thunder back then. I was 15 years old. I've been involved with junior hockey in some capacity for 31 years now. I started out as a goal judge, and then I worked my way into being a timekeeper / scorekeeper. And then after that was done, I was the mascot for 3 junior hockey teams that came to Langley. I was the original Buzz the Hornet for the Langley Hornets. I was Chief Wanawin, which I never thought I'd see the day where I was ever Chief Wanawin because I hated that guy. And then Langley and Chilliwack didn't get along very well back in the day, right? So
yeah.
Then I was Fraser the Riverman for 3 years. But during that time, I'd actually moved into the booth as a color commentator with a fellow by the name of Brandon Astle. And he's the play-by-play voice of the Abbotsford Canucks now. Outstanding play-by-play guy. He also done the Vancouver Warriors. So I basically learned the ropes on how to conduct an online broadcast from him. And then a lot of times he was not very tech savvy when it came to being on the road. I'd help him out when he was on the road. We'd do I'd take the feed from, at the time it was Fast Hockey. We'd feed it through to MixLR, which is what I use for the live free audio on the Outlaws stuff. I do it all myself now for the Outlaws. All of a sudden, I was going to go for the job as a color commentator, and then Brandon got the job with the Abbotsford Heat at the time. So there was a vacancy for the Rivermen. I'd never done play-by-play before. So I put my name in, and I did a handful of games, but I didn't really get the feel for it. Like, it just wasn't that good. Getting names was the hardest part for me, and flow and that speed that the BC Hockey League goes at. My God, man. So I decided, I put my name in, and they picked somebody else. And I was a little disappointed when the Rivermen took over there. I was a little disappointed. So what I did was, a friend of mine actually owns the hockey house in Langley, which is the roller hockey rink just down in Mashad Crescent. And he had a professional roller hockey league that he wanted to cover online streaming. He said, is this something you can do? Well, roller hockey is 4-on-4, no icings, no offsides. It's continuous for 20-minute periods, 2 periods. And I did 2 games back a night. So I always say to young guys that are like starting out in broadcasting, especially if they want to get into hockey, start with roller hockey. Because when you get to the ice hockey level, there's way more whistles. You have a better pace, but because you're used to such a high pace. And then the PJHL adopted fast hockey, and I put my name in with every single team across the board. And the Mission City Outlaws were the first to get me back.
Oh, wow!
Yeah. So first,
okay.
Well, maybe not even 45 seconds after I sent the email, Scott Keeler at the time, who was the owner of the Outlaws, contacted me and said, hey, my guy just quit on me the night before. Come on over tomorrow and let's see what you can do. And then I did 3 seasons with the Outlaws, won a championship in 2016. Then in that summer, in that off season, I got the call because the Rivermen moved from the Langley Event Center over to George Preston to make way for the Vancouver Giants. I said to my wife at the time, I said, I bet you I'm going to get a call, because I grew up with the Hendersons, who owned the team. And I get a call the next day, and it was from Taylor Henderson. And he says, hey, what would it take to pluck you away from Mission? And I was having so much fun. I just won a championship, great bunch of guys out there. Wanted to see where this was going to go. I turned it down and I hung up the phone. And my wife turns to me and says, you spent 3 years trying to hone your craft to get back up to the level where you were doing color commentary before, and you hung up the phone on him? I was like, yeah, I guess I did. So I said, I'll call him back. I called him back. We met at the rink. He said, this is what we're offering you. And so I jumped ship to the junior A level at that time with the BC Hockey League, and did 5 seasons there. Obviously cut short in 2020. And then ownership switched hands. Now, it was 2 brothers that owned the Rivermen, just so you guys know. One brother bought out the other brother, and I didn't realize at the time, because I grew up with the boys, I was on the wrong side of the coin, and it was the brother it was their dad was the one that sold his shares. So they cleaned house on anybody that wasn't associated with the new owner's side.
Right.
So I put it out on social media that I wouldn't be returning. And I'm not kidding you. Within 20 seconds of putting that tweet out, or I guess the X now, formerly known as Twitter, Scott Keeler called me back again and said, hey, how long before you come back here? I hate the guy I got right now, and I want you back. And I've been there ever since. And that's, we got there. Yeah.
And you've been there ever since.
Yep.
So that's the last, so in your second stint now, you're on year 4 or 5?
4.
Okay. Yeah, I thought so.
When I came back, though, Scott did 1 year, and then he sold the team the next year again. And I was like, oh, here we go again. And the new owners, Scott Farrell and Parv Dollywall, have been absolutely outstanding as owners, as you can attest to, Owen. Just great human beings, and I have nothing but positive things to say from them. They actually call me family or that of a capacity, and it really is. Owen, you've been there, like it's at game nights. It's not you guys are players and we're volunteers or staff or whatever. It's, oh gosh, who can rib who the most before they get up on the ice surface, right? They can really freak out there, but they come along, and then they did 1 year with me, and then they're like, we love you so much that we're going to sign you to a 3-year contract, which is unheard of for broadcasters. It's usually year to year.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So they signed me to a 3-year contract, and the next year is my last year, but they already said that there's an option at the end of this year just to sign for another 3 if I want. So they just want to keep me around. That's all. So I love it.
That's great.
It works with my schedule. It works with my lifestyle. I got kids. I got a regular job too, like everybody else. So,
yep. Do you have? I was going to say, do you have any aspirations to get back up there
to the BC Hockey League?
Like even the BCHL, WHL even?
I would probably jump to Dub if I could over the BC Hockey League. I don't think I'd go back to the BC Hockey League. to me, it's night and day in comparison because with the BC Hockey League, it's so business-like, and with the PJHL, it's more of a gentleman's club. I don't know what it was like with you guys out in Revelstoke, but I mean, it seems like you guys are a little bit more business-oriented up in the KI than when we are than the PJ. But I mean, there's still a business in the PJ, but it just seems like people are more open to discussing things with you. At that level, you're not able. They don't tell you anything. Like literally, I will come out to a rink. I'll be watching warm up, and I'm like, "Who the heck is that guy out on the ice?" They don't even tell you who the new AP is, or the guy they picked up from Kelowna, or whatever, right? And then you have to start doing your quick search before you even go on a broadcast.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
As for the PJ, these guys call me 3 days ahead of time saying, "Hey, we're making a deal. Get ready and get this guy ready to go." That's the difference between the two. So WHL probably be the same idea, pretty business oriented, but I just think that the exposure that you get from that level would be, night and day compared to what it is at the PJHL level.
Yeah, of course.
Fair enough.
So that season, what transpired? What was it like to watch that? Obviously, you talked about how much fun you were having getting to watch and be a part of that team. And then, so what was it like, getting to watch that? And then, doing this job again now, what are, some of the biggest changes you notice between the league then and now?
Best seat in the house.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, my makeshift seat in the house that I make there, because I don't have a right? So I don't know if you've seen my Facebook page, but that's my broadcast spot as my cover photo. I don't know if you guys get that. It's public, so you'll see it. But for me, back in the day, the closeness, the guys always seemed to do a lot more stuff together. After practice back then it was only Tuesdays and Sundays, which I don't think it changed much for when you were there either. But the guys after Tuesdays, they'd go to cheap movie night. Regardless of what garbage was out on the big screen, they were still going to the movies just because it was a group activity, right? They were always together. And if one guy wasn't at one guy's house, you knew he was at the other guy's house, or they were out together, right? Yeah. So there was just the camaraderie between in that room, and everybody knew everybody, and they were all just really, really tight group. And the cool part for me was, getting to call that playoff run. The other day I was talking about it with my son and talking about the Florida Panthers. Remember how they've won the Stanley Cup this year, and they came up short the year before, and they said it made him hungrier. And then now you heard Connor McDavid saying the same thing this year, that it made them tighter. And this year's this year a bust, right, for the Oilers. Same can be said for the Outlaws that season as well, because they came up short on the 2015 season against the North Van Wolfpack. And lost in 6. Now, however, they did have the flu, and there were guys playing in that game that had a fever of 106.
Sounds like Owen in his last game.
Owen was pretty sick in his last game. I remember that too. Yeah. So and I think I made a reference to that about you kind of being in comparison to Brody Dick at the time. Brody Dick was this phenomenal.
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, gotcha. So what happened was like that next year they were hungrier, and all of a sudden they come out and they're 3-0 down to the Ridge Meadows Flames, who just snuck into the playoffs. And I have a little montage that I put together, and it's shared on the socials, but it's a little montage, and you can hear me go, "Well, if it wasn't do or die before, it sure is do or die now." And they come back and they win the next game in overtime. I thought it was over. Then they win the next game in overtime. Now it's 3-2. Then they come and they completely dominate them for the last 2 games and do a reverse sweep and win in 7, and then move on to Abbotsford and sweep them, which they'd never ever done in their entire franchise till this day. That's only once that they ever did that. They swept them in 4. Then they go against the Grandview Steelers, and they win 3, and then they lose by 1 goal in game 4. But that was at Burnaby Winter Club, and I just have this sneaky suspicion that our guys wanted to win on home ice because it looked like they took the night off, but they were just exhausted, right? So they come back, and then we lost our ice on our main rink.
Yeah, you was playing in the South, right?
Yeah, so we had to play in the South for the final game because the North had to be taken out for this lacrosse tryouts, which the surprising thing here, lacrosse never used the floor at all, like not until 3 weeks after that final was played.
Yeah, of course they did.
What?
Yep. So we packed the South rink. There must have been 700 people there. At one point,
That tiny ice surface.
yeah, exactly. And then at one
Tiny
point,
rink.
the fire marshal showed up, and our owner went, "Oh God, like we're gonna get shut down." And he popped in. He goes, "I know you're above capacity." He goes, "I just want to see what the score was." He was like, "It was." So, and then we ended up winning 7-3 that night. So to win it 5-1, and then went on to Victoria to play in the Cyclone.
The Cyclone there.
Didn't get a chance to call that series or that tournament. Politics got in the way of me actually getting a chance to call that, but the guys were really welcoming to do the games there. They actually did a round table at the end of the night, kind of like what you guys are doing here, and they involved me with that so we can break down the day's worth of games.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So at least
That's nice then.
I didn't make a waste of the trip out there, right? So, but I was a little disappointed because I wanted to call it, but Victoria was the host, and then Campbell River made the team. And just to give you perspective, Owen, that's like Abbotsford asking Mission for permission.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
It's not gonna happen.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So they were just like, nope, Campbell River's coming. They want to bring their guy. We're not letting him, so we can't let you. And I was
Yeah, exactly. I get it.
Come on, man. I'm like 10 times the broadcast. No, I'm just kidding.
So this, I mean, obviously now, like I said earlier, in your second stint, the first 2 years of your second stint here, we had a bit of an older team. Obviously last year was a bit of a rebuild year. I mean, my 20 year, we had a few 20-year-olds. We were still a playoff team, but and now we're into this year. So you've really seen the team have a huge change over the past few years. I don't think there's any players left now with Jensen gone from the team 3 years ago. So, what has it just been like, coming back and, just seeing the team change so much already over the past 3 or 4 years? And how has this year been? And, what are your expectations for the near future of this team?
I think if they keep going the pace they're going, they're looking to develop players, and you're getting a lot of kids that have never stepped on the ice as any kind of junior experience ever before, and so now to see these guys from the word go to now, seeing them come into their game. I mean, they picked up a big win against Surrey on Saturday in a tight race in the Harold Britton Conference. They were only 2 points behind us going into that game, and now they're 4 points behind us going into tonight's game, I guess, where they're hosting. But they have a game in hand, so that was a big win, character win. And I'm seeing this Outlaws team slowly make changes as they go along, not necessarily personnel wise. They have added some pieces to the puzzle, but I'm seeing them make changes in how they're reading the game, how they're discussing the game, compared to what I've seen in the past. We're talking, discussing before the face-off, tons of conversation before they even drop the puck, coming in there day one of camp. And the first thing I noticed is their systems. And Derek Doucette has said the same thing, which you hear in every single interview that I've done with every single kid this year is coach says 1% better every game. 1% better. And it's starting to slowly come into play. And is there a lot of naysayers out there? Yeah. Is everybody not going to be Brad Veach? They're not. And Brad just had that style about him. It was just, he was a very good technical sound coach. Everybody has their own format, but everybody just got so used to Brad that it just seems like everybody else that comes in just doesn't really get a fair shake. I didn't think that that Kimber really got a fair shake last year. I think he did some good things with the team. I think Derek's going to even take it a step further, and I think Derek's here longer term. And I think the boys are starting to realize that now, and this might as well, instead of fighting it, why don't we just try and accept it and see what happens? But I have the Outlaws being a bit of a sleeper team. I know it's because I work for them, but nobody's noticing the Outlaws, and that's exactly the way they like it. They're kind of flying under the radar. So that's the difference that I've seen between, it's kind of the same similarity before too, because nobody took the Outlaws seriously for having so many bad seasons my first time around. It's the same kind of going on right now, but they're adding pieces to the puzzle. They got a lot of Alberta boys on the team this year.
Yeah, they do.
Those kids can flat out play hockey.
Yeah, they're young. They're a super young team too. So it'll be interesting to see how they develop in the near future. No, that's great to hear. I mean, obviously you're watching the games more than anyone, so it's good to hear your perspective. Joe, do you got anything here?
I was gonna jump back to the past a little bit and ask you this. What impressed you the most about that 2016 championship team? Like, what made them different to everyone else? And second to that, Veach was an amazing coach. Was he was the head coach for that championship, right?
Yeah. He was there for like 8 years.
So
9 years.
If you touch on like kind of what he did for the organization and like what impressed you the most about that Outlaws team?
What impressed me the most about that Outlaws team was that any one of those guys could have played junior A hockey and they decided to stick around. To me, that just showed that they really bought into the system that was going on here. There was guys that broke records that year. Bryce Piziak, David McGowan. David McGowan I think he still holds the single season assist record at 87 assists in one season.
Oh my God.
And then Bryce Piziak did hold the single season point record, which was broken by former Outlaw, then turned Abbotsford Pilot and Bailey Wright. Bailey Wright, who I, by the way, work with his dad. So, I was the reason why Bailey came to Mission.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
I got there right away, and I got introduced to Brad, and then Brad said, Brad says, "Oh, you covered roller hockey." He goes, "Do you know the Wrights?" I said, "Well, yeah, I work for Rod." And he goes, "Oh, well, what's Bailey doing?" I said, "He's playing minor hockey." He's like hell he is. He goes, "Give me his number. I'll call him right now." He got an AP right away, right? So, and he AP'd his first year, made the team full time the next year, right? So, and then he went on to win the scoring title for the entire league, which is now, like I said, a record, right? So, and who knows? Who knew the broadcaster could bring some extra player? But
recruiter, maybe in the future, a little scouting.
Yeah, maybe an assistant GM.
Yeah, somebody said that to me. Was one of our owners said that. He's like, "I've often thought about putting you as an assistant general manager." I'm like, "I got enough on my plate, man. I don't need any extra bullets."
Fair enough, man. No, that was a big part of our childhood. Me and Owen watching that champ. I think we've touched on it before in a couple other videos, but it made me want to play junior.
That 2016
low key, like that inspired me to be like, oh, I want to be those guys one day. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I was lucky enough to get the chance to win. It was amazing.
Remember Nick Thompson that played for the Outlaws that year? He was assistant coach.
Thompson, yeah.
If you ever go back and watch old video, if you can see when Nick gets hurt in a game, or supposedly gets hurt in a game. He called it the Thompson Two-Tap. And what would happen is he would try to draw a penalty. And he would just try to get a rest for his team because he knew that they were about to go on a power play. So what he would do is he'd lay on the ice, but what he would do is he would tap his right skate down twice on the ice. And our trainer at the time knew to take his time coming over to get him. Instead of running out onto the ice, he would just walk to him. So it would buy more time to get the top line ready to go for the start of that power play, and they would always score on that power play, right? So little things like that, like just cool little things like that. But you're right, that team was special. It was so much fun to be a part of. The only thing that my regret is because I made the jump, unfortunately, they felt that I didn't deserve a ring. So it's empty on my hands, as you can see here. So
no,
I never got a
sad
ring because some people were butthurt because I left. So to go to the junior. Yeah. So, and then I was promised when I came back this time when the team wins, which I'm saying when, not if, when the team, I'm definitely getting one this time around.
Okay. So. Well, yeah, hopefully, the boys will make sure they get you one. That's criminal that you don't have a ring. Oh my goodness.
You got one. To me, you got one.
Yeah, exactly. In our eyes,
memories, right? So, and then that's another thing too, right? Like for me, it's just a ring. I mean, I'd love to have it, and I know a lot of my friends have won it with other teams, and they nothing but show it to me as their broadcasters. I think Langley won a couple of years back there, and the PA guy got one. Like seriously, the PA guy got one, and I didn't. And I was with this team from all the games, home and away. Like I'm the only guy.
That's crazy.
Yep. I was not. Yeah, it's still a sour spot for me, but
it should be. Oh my goodness! Wow. Well, Sorry, Joe.
That's all I had for questions. That's
Yeah,
just let Owen
I was
finish up
actually
here.
going to say too. I don't think I got anything left questions wise here. I was going to just kind of open the floor to you if you got anything else you want to talk about or any stories, anything like that. This interview's flown by, so just anything you got.
Oh, you guys want stories? How long's your show?
I feel like this guy's got a million stories. Yeah.
So I got a recent story for you guys that I can share with you.
Sure.
Recently, the Outlaws went and they acquired a kid by the name of Jet Toy Fudger, and he spells his last name Toye. And I was like, that's weird. We used to have a Randy Toy in 93, 94 play for the Langley Thunder. Any relation? So I go up to this kid and I'm like, hey, I'm Mike the Boiler. Or I don't even say the Boiler, but I'm Mike Bordignon. I'm the play-by-play voice of the Outlaws. And he's like, cool, I'm Jet Toy Fudger. I'm like, yeah, I noticed that. I'm like, your last name, any relation to Randy Toy? And his face just lit up. And he's like, that's my uncle. And I'm like, ha, what a small world. And I'm like, your uncle had 168 points in a single season for the Langley Thunder. This guy
Holy
is a stud. But Joe, you're going to love this as a goalie because you wouldn't have had the issue with this, but Owen might not have liked it. He used to shave his wooden stick to a fine point, and then he would tape the end of the stick to kind of conceal it, but enough to have a little bit of a prick out there. So what would happen is when he would go into the corners to mucker up with guys, he would jab them in the rib cage, and they would let go of the puck, and then he back down the ice. That's
old time hockey.
Mean. And my folks used to own a couple of Subway restaurants back when I was younger, and they had a promotion where the Thunder players were going to come and make subs. And Randy had fought the night before, and he hit nothing but guy's helmet, and he had all these bludgeoned hands. And my mom's like, I can't have you serving people, so how about we put you in the back with some gloves on, and you can do like prepping tomatoes and meat and lettuce and that kind of thing. Perfectly fine with that. But the small world, like it's just like the hockey community.
Yeah.
And I owe so much to this game over my entire life, including the junior hockey game, the junior hockey teams that I've been with. And I always joke that most of my wardrobe is teams that I've worked for. I don't actually buy any of my own clothes because it's all just kind of given me. As you can see, my sweater today, right? The Outlaws hats. Yeah. I've got sometimes I go mix match. I wear a Riverman hat with that's just clean. But I mean, I don't know if you guys know this, but years ago I had a pretty serious situation happen in my house. I think Owen might know this, but my wife passed suddenly, and if it wasn't for the hockey community rallying behind me, I don't know what would have happened. But getting guys that reached out to me from that 2016 team, which I was with them from 2013 on. And then guys that I called games for that are playing in the NHL now that just lit up my phone with condolences or I'll be there for you. And they were there for me. Nothing beats the hockey family community. And you guys can attest to that, playing for as many years as you have. And now, Joe, you're moving on with your college guys there. These are guys that you're going to spend the rest of your life with as family members. They're not just teammates, they're family, right? And to me, I may be just a broadcaster, but to me, I always feel like I'm part of the family. And so it's always gotten me through a lot of good times, some bad times as well. And just to go back on my highlight for me is I've never, ever in the entire time that I've been doing play-by-play broadcasting have I missed the postseason, and I don't plan on that happening again this year.
Good, man.
That was
what a message.
Wow.
That's amazing. I'm so happy with that, man.
That was the best. Yeah, that was definitely probably the best possible way we could have ended that off. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was amazing. Yeah,
that's a great. That just makes me feel good, man. That makes me feel good about the hockey community, and that makes me happy. So I'm happy that it's done so much for you, man.
Man, and then shows like this, man, it just kind of lets you relive the old days too, and then hearing some of the old guests you guys had on there too. And I mean, you must have had a moment of weakness. You let Austin Charlton on there, but that's okay. That's what the joke. He'll see that and go, "Oh, Boiler, I'm going to get you for good." Remember that? When I told him that he was the biggest guy next to, or bigger than Nick Peebles.
Yeah.
And he's still bugged about that. He said it to me at training camp before he left for Comox. He said, "Oh, I'm not the biggest guy anymore. I lost 50 pounds in the
That's awesome, man.
Well, yeah, thank you so much for coming on and doing this interview. This has been great, and just yeah, thank you for all the stories you shared. This was a great interview, and obviously also thank you so much for being the voice of the Mission City Outlaws while me and Joe were growing up, and as well again while I was playing for the team. You were always an absolute pleasure to be around, and everyone notices how much you put into it, and the Outlaws all love you. So thank you so much for everything, Boiler. And Joey, I'll let you have the last word here.
No, I really appreciate the message and everything. And like I said, like Owen said there, being the voice of that 2016 run is pretty special as well. So always see you doing the color, doing the play-by-play for the Outlaws. I can't miss you up there with all your computer screens and shit going on. And
Right.
but yeah, no, I think we all owe you, and just thank you for everything you've done.
Thanks, guys, and I'll return the favor and get you on one of our intermissions one of these days. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
That'd be awesome. I would love to.
The 2024-2025 NHL season still has that new car smell, and the action is heating up at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. It is super easy for first-timers to get started at DraftKings Sportsbook. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. And if you're new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ice.
Thank you so much to Mike the Boiler for hopping on for that interview. Just an absolute classic. Incredible message at the end there about the importance of your hockey community and as the Boiler said, hockey family. Just a great interview. I really enjoyed that, and it was a long time coming. He's been wanting to come on pretty bad, so I'm glad we finally got him. Joe, any other last comments for that before we get into some NHL talk?
No, and I think we're good to go. It was a real good interview. It's a real good interview, and yeah.
I'm leaving that in there.
Thanks so much for the Boiler for coming on. I think I always notice that guy when we get into the rink. He's got all his screens up, and I always see him. I don't think he's ever missed a game, man.
No, I was gonna say too, like I think he's the longest tenured person in the entire Outlaws organization, besides maybe any volunteers. But as far as like part of the organization, like even like he's outlasted
paid on contract. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
so great interview.
It's a good interview overall. Yeah.
Well, buddy, let's we haven't talked NHL in a long time, so I just want to go over a couple major just like mention a couple storylines since we've last talked, so we kind of know where we're at. Since we last talked about the NHL, McDavid hit 1,000 points. Exactly. That's how long it's been. That was a while ago. Ovechkin, it was right before he got hurt. He had just scored a hattie. He was 29 goals away. The Caps are looking like a wagon, and Ovi's out. So that's a tough one. But he's 29 away. Dude, how fucked is that? He was leading the NHL in goals before he got hurt. Another big thing that I wanted to talk about is Jumbo Joe's retirement ceremony. That was probably the best retirement ceremony I've seen. Just the speeches from everyone, like Marlowe, and just the speeches from him himself are fucking unbelievable. He's such a character, and as dominant of a player as he was just, you always heard stories about him being the best fucking guy in the world off the ice. There was one story about him like setting up housing for a homeless family, and it was just like what a class act. And I also just heard some hilarious stories about who he is besides being a class act, just apparently one of the funniest guys out there. So such a shame he never got a ring. You know, one of the guys, I think, for us who was just, as we were growing up, always one of the top players in the league. And it's sad to see his career over, but what a career it was. Definitely a guy I loved watching growing up and idolized a lot. So
I think a guy that's been in the league since we've been born.
yeah, exactly. Like that's why, right?
Yeah, that's how long he's been around. He's been an icon of the game. I still remember that. I don't remember, but I remember the talking about that trade with him in Boston, and
so crazy.
That was so long ago, man. But still, like, just how influential he is, and how
yeah, man,
how much of an effect he had on the game. So I think a deserved ceremony for a deserved, legend of the game. Do you think he's a Hall of Famer?
Oh God, yeah. It's like, I know he didn't win a cup, but he's got an Olympic gold. He's yes, no question.
Yeah, okay.
Like, not even, yeah, no debate. Yeah. It's sucks he never got a ring, but no debate there. Well, Joey, maybe you just kind of talk about a couple other storylines around the league since we've last been on here. You see the Ryan Reeves hit on Nurse, the 5-game suspy.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Was it 5 games? Should he gotten 5 games?
But I don't think he should have. Because there was zero. I don't think there was any intent. Like, it was just kind of unlucky. That was pretty controversial on social media, but like, I think
Max, just because he's a repeat offender.
Yeah, but he only has one other headshot in his career, and it was only a 1-gamer. So it's like, it's just it just looks, and he hasn't been suspended many times either. Like,
pretty firm.
He's actually got a decent record, but anyways, yeah, like, I guess that's how they were looking at it, and they don't, when a like 4th line grinder drills someone in the head, they're just going to look at it like the optics of it don't look good, I guess. But I don't know. I didn't really see any issue. Like, sorry, obviously it's not a clean hit, but in a little bit, and then a little more. Yeah, 5 is too many. In a little more recent news since then, Boston Bruins fired Jim Montgomery, which I think is just, Cam Neely's such a fucking moron, and Don Sweeney. They have no idea what they're doing, and this was a terrible, terrible decision. Monty's one of the best coaches in the league. Broke the record with Boston. I think he has the best record in the NHL in the past 2 seasons, and he just got canned. So St. Louis hired him right away. Fired their coach. I actually forget the guy they fired's name. He was whatever. But Monty will be a great fit in St. Louis, and Boston promoted Joe Sacco.
Oh yeah. You got hired, and the last 3 coaches I saw have all been hired within the last week. The week of them getting fired. And they've all been amazing coaches for the Bruins.
Yeah. And Bruce Cassidy won a cup with Vegas right after. So kind of tells you that maybe the Boston Bruins, owner should stop letting the stupid GM and president fire the good coaches and instead fire the stupid GM and president. But because Cam Neely played for the Bruins, I guess they don't want to fire him. I don't really like shitting on Cam Neely. Maple Ridge boy, Cam Neely Arena, absolute stud, NHL legend, but he's terrible at his job, and he kind of seems like a dickhead too. So I don't know, like the Swayman stuff rubbed me the wrong way as well.
That's true.
Interesting to see the coaching carousel. I will say, any other guys you think are in the hot seat right now? I think Mike Sullivan's days in Pittsburgh might be numbered, but
probably numbered. His Nashville's
so
gotten
bad.
done.
It's like,
what about Nashville? Who's Nashville?
There's Nashville. It's Andrew Burnett, who I've always been very fond of as a coach, but that team is still just like, they're last in their division. They're worse than Chicago. They're minus 19. Realistically, they're still only 6 to 8 points out of it right now. But
you can turn it around, but yeah,
I don't know. It doesn't look good for them, man. Like they just don't look like the team that we all thought. Trade rumors starting to heat up a little bit too. We'll see. It sounds like their center ice has been a big issue for them. So maybe we'll see them do something to try and fix that. But Saros hasn't been the best either. He hasn't been awful, but he hasn't been good enough to save them. Another quick thing about Boston is Nikita Zadorov has been atrocious. And I am so glad that Vancouver didn't sign him. And this is was the most predictable. He's a bottom pair guy. Boston's playing him on the top pair, and he starts to suck. He's trying to do way too much. That's not his game. He's in a perfect world, he's a number 4 guy who plays exactly how he did for Vancouver. That's the absolute peak of his game. And they're paying him $5 million for the next 6 years, and they're throwing him in a role that he's not suited for. And
He's never
obviously
played
he's
before
not
ever.
performing well. So it's
Yeah.
not as much on him, but like just a weird one. And then another team, dude, the New York Rangers have been horseshit lately.
Yeah,
And
Shesterkin can
they're
only do so
lucky.
much, man.
They're lucky they had such a good start, but 12-8-1, lost their last 4 in a row. Jonathan Quick can only do so much too. It's their forwards. Zibanejad has seen some huge regression this year. Chris Kreider, I think in 20 games he has 9 goals and 0 assists. And I'm starting to hear Kreider's name come up in trade talks, as well as Jacob Trouba, who we've known is terrible. So that's not surprising that they want to move on from him. But I think the Rangers are cooked. Their window's like they'll make the playoffs, but I think their window's closed. They're not a team that I take seriously. Staying in the Metro, we got to touch on Zach Werenski lately. I think he has 10 points in his last 3 games, including a 5-point night and a Gordie Howe hat trick last night. Holy fuck! Like he might be the Norris front runner right now, along with Makar and Hughes. Like I think those 3 are at the top right now. Werenski, he's like point per game. He's been unbelievable. And Columbus has been playing some really good competitive hockey. So you like to see that after the offseason they had. And then you got to like staying in the Metro. This will be the last thing I have in the Metro. Marty Necas, oh my God, still leading the NHL. He's got 37 points. That's the fact that he's doing this a quarter of the way into the season is insane. Like just absurd. Yeah. And then like the Leafs are looking good. Florida's still looking nasty. And then after that, it's like the Atlantic is so even, but like evenly mid. Like
evenly
Boston, Tampa,
mediocre.
Buffalo, Detroit, Ottawa. Ottawa's been looking terrible lately too. I really hope they turn things around.
Ullmark needs to turn things around there.
Yeah, he's been rough. But like, do you just watch it? Like watching them play against the Canucks, like they looked brutal. Like I know they tried to put a little comeback at the end, but the Atlantic's a weird one for me. Like I think
9 points from last to first.
Yeah. And like I said at the start of the year, like I think Boston or Tampa, one of those teams is missing this year. I had it being Tampa, but I think it could. When you look at the games played, it looks like as of right now, if someone's missing, it's going to be Boston.
Yep.
And then who knows between Detroit, Buffalo, Ottawa, and then I mean with how mid they've been, Montreal's not even out of it yet, despite being pretty bad at the start of the year. They've been a lot better lately, but dude, look at the goal differential for the Atlantic. How fucking random it is.
It doesn't
Boston's minus 18 in third.
And they're in third place.
And then you got Detroit minus 11, and then Ottawa's only minus 1. And they're in second last. Like it's just all over the fucking place.
And the Lightning are plus 4. Lightning have the best goal differential in that division, and they're in fourth.
By quite a bit, yeah, plus 14. So it's a weird one. Lightning have played a bit less games too, but it's differential, so that doesn't have.
Sagan Calves is getting lots of ice time there.
Gage has been playing
primary
lots.
Assist the other day.
Yeah, picked up his first NHL point. That was pretty awesome to see for Gage. Obviously, Mission's first full on NHL player. So we hope he stays.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
To the big club. Joe, you kind of want to talk about the West a little bit? Maybe start with the Pacific?
I mean, we were watching the Canucks game last night.
Dude, the Canucks, like, we haven't talked about the JT Miller thing. Damn.
Oh, yeah, he's been out.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think it's a mental health thing.
I think so too, yeah. So, obviously...
take the time he needs, but...
Yeah. And everyone's been very supportive, which is all very good to see, because sometimes Canucks fans get a little emotional. So
I saw some chirps being thrown his way at the start, but I think once people realized that it wasn't...
people thought it was because he got
nothing to do with hockey.
Why.
It was stuff to do outside of hockey. So I think once they realize that, they're pretty supportive. But yeah, the Canucks have been... They're just so mediocre. They've been on the road.
Dude, they just like beside like Pedersen's back, thank goodness. He's been electric.
Yeah,
And Quinn
thank God.
Hughes has been amazing. Kiefer Sherwood has
See the goal
seemed
he
to
scored
kind
last
of
night?
Hughes, yeah. Oh, goal of the week.
Yeah.
Sherwood's kind of seemed to bring Hughes and DeBrusque alive. DeBrusque's been a lot better too. But no Miller is hurting. Glad that Besser's back for them as well. And I mean, Seelovs, dude, like, it's been rough.
Sad.
But
the
team in general,
he's
man,
been
just
unlucky. They've just been
I know
unlucky
he has.
almost.
Like I saw like the game against the Penguins when they lost the other night. Like there was a lot of like he couldn't do much. But at the same time, I don't know, man. Like he just hasn't really been where he needs to be yet. Another thing, like they just don't seem like they have the heart right now. Like they haven't been playing with that same whatever it was that they had last year, mojo, heart, drive, whatever it is. It just doesn't seem to be there right now, and I hope that they can really invoke that back into the lineup. I think having Besser back will keep JT happy, and once JT's back and JT's happy, that'll hopefully bring the room back alive, especially with Pedersen going now. So I think the Canucks are going to be okay. The Pacific is just a shit show standings wise because Edmonton's going to make the playoffs. And then Calgary started good, slowed down, and then they're good again. Is Calgary a playoff team? Is LA a playoff team? I don't know. After Vegas, they're all so mid.
Seattle?
Seattle's like the most mid team ever, just 11-11-1.
11-11-1, 64 goals for, 64 goals against. Like
points difference between first and seventh is 8 points.
In the Pacific?
Yeah.
First and
sixth. And then between second and seventh is only 7 points.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that second to seventh is just a mishmash. So who knows what's going to happen in the Pacific? I think LA slows down and Calgary, and Vancouver and Edmonton slide in, but we'll see.
We'll see.
As for dude, this division, it's like
the Central.
Yeah, Winnipeg still looking good. They've lost a couple, but they're still looking good. Mini is looking unstoppable. Kirill's not slowing down. Mateen's not slowing down. Dallas is looking incredible. Colorado's getting healthy. How the fuck does Nashville make the playoffs with that top four right now?
They just don't, man. It's just unfortunately not going to happen.
And you look at the Pacific, and then I mean, obviously, in the Pacific, the only team really in there right now is Vegas. So there's let's say Vegas, Vancouver, and Edmonton end up being the top three there. There's one extra spot between Nashville, Utah, St. Louis, who's been playing okay, LA, Calgary, Seattle, even Anaheim is doing pretty not that. They're doing better than Nashville actually, and have more games to play. So it's like Nashville's got a long way to go. And although I do think they could turn it around, I just don't see who they knock out. I don't think the top four in the Central. I didn't think Mini had it this year. They clearly do. I don't think the top four in that Central is going to really change a whole ton, even though it's still pretty close.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think watch out for the Avs once they get healthy. Maybe they can get some fucking goaltending too. That'd be good. And then Dallas, Mini, and Jets are all cup contenders, I think.
Yeah, for sure, man. Is there anything else NHL wise? Storylines, players?
Fuck, I can't wait for Ovi to get back.
Yeah, same, man.
He'll get back.
Yeah, for sure.
It was amazing to watch him score two. Did he have 2 hat tricks in 2 games, or was it?
No, I don't think it was 2. I think it was like a hattie, and then he had 1 or 2 in the next.
And then 1 or 2 the next game. Yeah, and then he got hurt.
Yeah,
and I was like,
that.
"Fuck!" But he was. You can tell he was getting hot. Leading the league in goals still at 38. 39?
I will
38?
say 39. In 6 days, I believe the Four Nations rosters drop. I believe that's in 6 days, December 4th. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
We can switch over to that if you want to talk about that a little bit.
Well, I just wanted to talk about I want to talk about Four Nations quick. First thing I was going to say is I don't see why you don't give Logan Stankoven a look right now. Which sounds a bit crazy, but dude, when you look at you don't think that guy, the energy he would create on the fourth line, just fucking buzzing around out there?
Maybe if you don't take Bedsy.
Whoa.
I don't know. I'm sorry. He's been. I don't know if you want to unpack that.
No, I agree. But I agree with you. I just don't think you can't not take Bedard.
From a media standpoint.
I'll just give you a run through of kind of like I'll give you my team prediction for Canada. I'm not too concerned about the others. I mean, USA is a wagon, but I'm not too concerned about predicting the rosters. But here's my I'll give you my Canada lineup. Okay.
Can you go goalies first?
Yeah. Well, they actually ended up just announcing yesterday that it would be Hill and Binnington. Are two of them, and they're waiting to check if Joey Decourt is allowed to play for Canada or not.
If he's allowed to play for Canada, you should start him.
That's huge.
I think Joey Decourt is unreal.
So I'm under the assumption that because they haven't yet, that he's not going to be. So I have Talbot as my third because he's been the best one this year, probably. I don't know. It's so hard. It doesn't even fucking matter. And then I'll just work my way up to the D. So the D, I have Mackenzie Weegar, Cale Makar, Josh Morrissey, Evan Bouchard, Shea Theodore, Dougie Hamilton, and Drew Doughty, which means the guys I have just missing are Devon Taves and Alex Pietrangelo. Morgan Riley, another guy who some people might have, but that's my D-core. Personally, I just think it's the best blend of offense and defense. I don't think Taves, I think he's regressed a bit, and I think having Weegar there instead would be better. Weegar's just been unbelievable in his own end again this year, and him and Makar would just be such a monster pair. As for my forwards, I have Sam Reinhart, Connor McDavid, Mitch Marner, Brad Marchand, Sidney Crosby, Nathan McKinnon, Travis Konechny, Mark Scheifele, Mark Stone, Alexi Lafreniere, Nick Suzuki, Connor Bedard, and Anthony Cirelli. And then Anthony, he's been nasty this year offensively, but I'm taking Cirelli to be on the fourth. Him or Suzuki is the fourth line center, right? Okay. Cirelli's so good defensively. And then I think they're only allowed 23, but if they were allowed 24, my next man in would be Sam Bennett. Because that guy's just a tight, he's just a winner, the way he plays.
The way he plays.
So some forwards some notable guys that I don't have: Zach Hyman, Matt Barzell, Bo Horvat, and Ryan O'Reilly were some guys who just missed the cut. I've also heard people mentioning Adam Lowry and Tom Wilson for Team Canada because of just their depth impact.
Because of their,
I don't think Wilson is good. He's just not good enough. And Lowry, I don't hate, but I just think if you could have someone like Cirelli, Suzuki, or Bennett, that's a better option. It just doesn't make sense to take Lowry when you could have those guys. But Lowry's been a stud too. I wouldn't even hate to see Lowry on there. I think it's cool that guys who are being really considered for more than just the stats and the points. I just hope they don't go, oh yeah, that Darnell Nurse, he's a real good shutdown D man. If they look at it correctly, then having utility players, guys like Cirelli or Bennett who play Weegar, who play a really specific role, I love that. I just hope they choose the right one.
Because you got the skill and the firepower.
Oh yeah, that's
to score enough goals. It's just you need the guys that are going to play a role, and you can't have a team of entirely filled with McDavids. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and another player, Travis Konechny, he's put up great numbers this year, but he's one of the best penalty killers in the league, and that's why I have him. Mark Stone, that's why Reinhart. Those guys are all Marner. Even Marner's a great defensive player. So when you throw all this together, I just think that's the team that's going to give them the best chance to win against the U.S. Because the U.S. is usually a bit grittier too. So also why Konechny, Bennett, those guys are tough. So we'll see how it plays out. But are there any guys that I said that you really disagree with, or anyone I didn't say who you really want to see in there?
I mean, we talked about Bedsy, and we talked about Stankoven. Did you have Stankoven in your lineup?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Okay. I just think if I got to choose the team, I'd fucking throw him in the lineup instead of Bedard probably. But it's just not realistic, so I'm not going to mention it, even though I think it wouldn't be unreasonable.
Fair enough.
Yeah, man.
I think when it comes down to it, Canada, their top 9 is pretty locked in.
Yeah.
Their top 4D are pretty locked in, and it just matters on who they're going to take for role players and guys that can play with each other, because I feel a lot of it's going to be chem as well. Is have these guys played with each other? Do they know each other? And how they know each other's games and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think Canada is probably the favorite, but it's a lot closer than people might think, because we look at Team USA,
they're so good.
Probably the biggest. They're really good. They're better. Canada doesn't have
not an all-star, superstar goalie.
No, fuck no.
I
Fuck
think.
no. US has 5.
And US has 5. Russia's 4th goalie would start for Canada.
Yeah, US is 5th would probably. Maybe even their
US's
6th.
5th goalie would probably start for Canada. It's just not. We're weak in some spots where we shouldn't be weak, but we are
for sure.
But we're so strong offensively. It's just, I don't know if it makes up for it or how it's going to
go. And this tournament's still just kind of a warm up to the Olympics. That's what we're all really focused on and really excited for. That's the main thing that I care about. So I'm just pumped to finally see some best on best international hockey. Sucks there's no Russia. Really, really sucks there's no Russia. But I hope at the Olympics we can get them in there, because it's not, unless you got, like, if you don't have Canada, US, Russia in there, it's not best on best, really, when you think about it.
You need to put Russia back. Come on.
You're not going to let us see Ovi and Gino play one more fucking time for Russia before they retire. You guys, seriously?
I know.
They have to. They fucking have to. Anyways, man, you got any more hockey talk, or should we just get into a quick jungle sports section and then cap it off?
Yeah, we can cap it off with some sports here. So the rest of these leagues.
Sure. Well, I'll start off with Man City has 5 losses and a draw in their last 6. What the fuck?
It's actually so nice to see. It's actually so nice to see them losing games finally. It's the Rodri effect.
It is the Rodri effect, but it's actually more like the 70% of the team is hurt effect, not just Rodri.
Yeah, fair enough.
Everyone is hurt. Even our guys that are playing, like Kevin De Bruyne's back in the lineup, he's still hurt. Like Savio and Doku are still hurt.
Not fully fit.
It's a mess, but yeah, it's been a crazy. I didn't think this was possible based on how successful the last 5 years have been. It's crazy to see how bad they've been.
It doesn't feel like it's actually happening, but it is.
No, the craziest one is blowing the 3-0 lead against Feyenoord. Like that.
Feyenoord. That's the one.
How?
I love that. That's probably my favorite team from the Netherlands. They're like that.
That's sick.
When I went to Rotterdam, I went to their stadium and I went to their team store. It was so cool.
That's cool.
So fucking cool.
But yeah, I just don't know how you blow a 3-0 lead to them, and they've just been terrible.
Yeah, they'll
come around.
Been really bad.
The crazy thing is they're still in second in the Prem. And their next game is against Liverpool, who's in first. If they beat them, then they close the gap by a lot, and it's like this whole thing never even happened.
It's a 6-point game.
Yeah, it'll be huge. I don't have much else. I just want to touch on how bad City's
Chelsea's coming up too, though.
They've been good.
Don't sleep on them.
Yeah,
don't sleep on them.
I think City has more losses than Chelsea now, technically.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
One other soccer thing I actually wanted to touch on is involved with Man City's losing streak was a 4-0 shit pumping against Tottenham, and I just want to say it is a joke that James Maddison isn't playing for England as well. That guy is an absolute stud, and he's so good. Yeah. It's a joke he's not playing. He doesn't play for England.
He maybe with Tuchel coming in.
I think so.
It'll switch everything up. I think because he loved playing with a number. He was Chelsea's old coach, eh?
Yeah.
So he loved playing with a number 10 like that. He loved who was it? Mason Mount was his favorite player of all time, and Madison's just a better Mason Mount, I think. Yeah,
and I mean Madison, it's not like he would start for England or anything, but he should be on the fucking team. He's a very good player. So I just
that's all for soccer.
That's pretty much all I have there. There's some basketball news I have, but do you have anything else you want to talk about first?
Yeah, the Raptors suck.
Yeah, but they're doing it ethically. They're losing every game by fucking 2 points. It's sick.
They are. It's amazing. And they're gonna tank for Cooper Flag. What's his name?
They better tank for Cooper Flag.
Be a great pick.
Yeah, dude, the Cavs 17-2. What the fuck? It was 17-1. They lost their last game. Second best start in regular season history after the Warriors that one year when they had 73 wins.
Unreal. And they went 63-9 that year?
Yeah, 73, but yeah.
73-9, sorry.
Insane. How are the Cavs doing this? I don't. And dude, the Houston Rockets are nasty too, hey? They're 14-4. Yeah, I noticed today. Jalen, it's committee, dude. It's Green, Sengun, Thompson, Van Vliet, Brooks, Adams. Just a crazy, really weird mix of vets that just are absolute dogs, and then a bunch of young rookies, and it's working good there. But Joel Embiid, you see all the shit going on with him and the Sixers?
No, I didn't. What happened?
Well,
are they imploding? Or?
Yeah, they're imploding. They've lost they're in last place, I think, the Sixers, and they were supposed to win. Paul George is hurt
That's
again.
the process.
And Tyrese Maxey has apparently been like calling him beat out for being late to shit and like not caring. Like everyone's hurt. It's just a mess. But they got this Jared McCain rookie putting up 30 points a game and making zesty TikToks all day long. And he's just been carrying them. And dude, I fuck with Jared McCain. I think everyone fucks with Jared McCain now. This guy's a legend. Have you seen him? Do you know who Jared McCain is?
I haven't even, to be honest, I haven't even been watching enough basketball to know who he is.
I haven't been watching basketball, but I just keep seeing this guy's TikToks and shit, dude. No, dude, like all his highlight clips just start off with a TikTok and then move into a montage. Like he's like a TikTok star.
Oh, this guy.
Yeah.
He's averaging 17 this year.
No, it's only 17?
Yeah, he's only averaging 17 points this year. But still. He's doing
it. It must be like his last 10 games or something then, dude. Joe, don't look at the most two recent ones, but look at like the 10 game stretch before that.
Yeah, okay.
It was absurd. Yeah, like 27, 23, 34, 29, 20, 20, 30, like been going on.
Oh,
and he went like what, 17th overall or something? Like he wasn't even like a lottery pick, I don't think.
No, yeah, he played for Duke, but where did he go? 76ers. It doesn't say where. But yeah, no, his last 15, 18, 30. His last three. I mean, he went 3 for 15 against the Clippers, but still.
One bad game, but
yeah, game by game. But yeah, I mean, I should probably watch a little more basketball. College is just everything college down here is just going crazy. We went to we have a D2 basketball team, men's.
Oh yeah.
NCAA, and we went to a game the other day. It was so fun.
Oh, the atmosphere must be awesome.
It wasn't that crazy because everyone went home for Thanksgiving.
Right.
So it wasn't that many people. So we got to sit like courtside basically. Just like walk down and like sit down there, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
But you can you could chirp the kids and like when they're shooting and shit. It's so much fun.
That's awesome, man.
And they can hear you too because it's not that loud. So they can hear you.
Oh yeah.
It's fun. Yeah.
Well, that's all I got, buddy. I have nothing else to touch on for other sports. I'm unless you got anything else, I think we can wrap this episode up.
No, I think let's wrap it up here.
Awesome, buddy. Well, I'll just real quick. Thank you guys so much for listening and continuing to support the pod. The best way to support us is by downloading, watching, streaming, but especially downloading. So please continue to do that. We really appreciate it. Obviously, check out all our social media platforms, the YouTube, everything we got going on. We're going to keep rolling this out. Episode 20, 1,000 followers on Instagram. Things are going great. Lastly, this is coming out on the 29th, so you only got a couple days, but our Movember. Joey.
Oh my God, it's already on November.
I know. We got to get a post asking who is the better stash. We got to get that out there and see if that'll get us some donations.
I got to trim it up.
It'd be nice if we could get some Movember donations, but if not, anything you can do to raise awareness for the cause is wonderful, and we appreciate that.
We're getting lots of compliments on mine, dude. It's weird.
Yeah?
People actually mess with it. Yeah.
Nice.
People mess with it.
I like it.
It's just a down here
I've had
thing,
a couple, but we'll see. But yeah, just thank you all so much for the support. Continue to share the pod with people who you think might be interested, and just stay tuned for more good stuff. Joey, I'll let you have the last word, buddy.
No, I think just thanks to everyone for supporting us, getting us to 1,000. We'll keep going, and we got some good interviews coming up. Some good interviews and some big time guests hopefully in the works here, and I'm just excited to see where it takes us.
Hey everybody, I'm Trevor Sikkema, host of the PFF NFL show, here to tell you what you can find on all of our shows throughout the week. On Mondays, we have the grade release show where myself and Dalton Washman break down every single game that you just saw in the NFL. On Tuesdays, we have the quarterback breakdown with Seth Galina. On Wednesdays, we've got the rookie review with John Ledyard and the preview for the upcoming week in the NFL. So make sure you are subscribed to the PFF NFL show wherever you get your podcasts.